Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of December 23rd. This week, we're going to jump right in here. You have this wheel card. It says endings and beginnings on it. You also have this moose. It says acceptance and eccentric on it. I don't know. A lot of people have had these endings and beginnings cards this week. So, it could be a time of new beginning. And, it kind of makes sense. Mercury retrograde is over and, people could be ready to, start new things. I think after retrogrades, we can, implement everything that we learned during the retrograde. So, if you revisited old ideas that you wanted to restart or redo during the retrograde, you could, be taking action on those things that you were thinking about and creating some sort of change in your life. And, that's kind of what I see here. The acceptance and eccentric card can say that you have eccentric ideas. We're definitely in a time of eccentric ideas. I mean, Pluto and Aquarius will definitely will reward any innovative or eccentric ideas that are popping into your head. And so I would be taking advantage of those ideas or, using those ideas to create success. You have the Death card, the Fool, and the Three of Wands in your first row. The Death card, of course, is like a new beginning or, some sort of change coming in for you. There could be a surprise change coming in. I mean, you have the Tower and the Death card, the Tower, and then you have the Ten of Swords right next to it. This can represent entering into a new reality or, a change in reality. The thing about the Death card with the Tower is that this guy right here, he kind of looks like a pope or the Hierophant, and he kind of is begging for his life on the card, but he represents beliefs that we hold on to that we need to release so that we can undergo a transformation. And so there could be certain beliefs or belief systems that are being challenged in your life right now. Again, I talk about this all the time, but we have Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief, and this guy right here, he represents traditional belief. So I think everybody is going through this right now where it's certain beliefs about yourself or about the world or the way things work in business or whatever it is, there could be some sort of challenge. And we have the Five of Wands right next to it. And the Five of Wands is like a competition or conflict or some sort of issue that is popping up, but, it can also represent inner conflict. And so we're going to have to look into this because, again, I think there's definitely a change in your beliefs about something. You have the Fool. The Fool is about a new beginning as well. So I think this, reading is clearly a new beginning reading. You end with the Ace of Pentacles, which is definitely a new beginning. And the Fool kind of says that you are prepared or ready to take a leap of faith. So I think it is time. You also have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands, same thing. He is, sometimes I feel with the Three of Wands that really the question is, what are you waiting for? He's standing here where he has always been, and he sees these boats that are on the water here, and he could easily get on those boats and go on an adventure. So, the Three of Wands is about expansion, and it's about expanding with the universe or growing. And so I feel for a lot of you that this reading is encouraging you to, grow or take a leap of faith in a new direction, clearly, because it will cause growth. And the Tower makes perfect sense to me because, again, if we grow, we are entering into a new reality, and it can be uncomfortable, but, it's for growth. So, as I always say, I think the Tower gets a bad rap. The Tower really isn't a bad card, and, we will always have Tower moments in life. It's just how life works. With the Death card, you have the Nine of Swords. Something has to change. This kind of changes the first part of the reading a little bit because the Nine of Swords is like a never-ending nightmare. It's like having a nightmare, waking up, and being stuck in a nightmare. So it's like, but here's the thing, Gemini, is that I think that something has to change in your life. I don't feel too worried about this. Again, everybody worries about the Tower. To me, the Nine of Swords is the worst card in the tarot. So, again, you should be much more concerned about this than the Tower if you're worried about the Tower. But what I would say is I'm not concerned. I kind of feel like that you have to change or that something has to change in your life. With the Fool, you have the Page of Wands. Again, new adventure. Page of Wands follows his enthusiasm or his the light. He basically moves towards things that are exciting to him. And I definitely feel this reading is encouraging you to move towards excitement or something that makes you feel the energy of love. And that doesn't have to be a person. It can just be what your heart is connected to, because we have the Queen of Cups right here. We also have the Ten of Cups at the end. Ten of Cups would literally be what makes you happy. So I feel a lot of you, like the universe is encouraging you to move towards happiness. And again, it makes sense that a lot of this stuff is happening as well because you have Jupiter in your sign still. And so Jupiter wants you to expand since it's, your first house, in your first house, and it wants you to grow and expand. So there you go. With the Three of Wands, you have the Devil. I would be careful of a past person with this mess right here because, again, if someone stabbed you in the back in the past, the Seven of Cups could say that there was like an illusion in the connection. And this is what I'm getting intuitively as well, is that, someone didn't see things clearly and now they could be regretting it. It's kind of the feeling I get. So I would definitely be careful of past people as well. Even though we're past the retrograde, doesn't matter. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this releasing card, so you're clearly releasing something. You also have this card that says stay in integrity as well. Yeah, I do get the feeling that someone, could be trying to come back. And again, of course, I would, stay in integrity. This could say that, maybe you have every right in the world to rip this person a new you-know-what. I can't say it on YouTube. And, again, maybe you have every right to do that. But maybe it also wouldn't be keeping you in integrity. So maybe it would be better to just, block and move on or to completely release it and avoid it at all cost, just so that you can avoid the conflict with the Five of Wands. Five Wands can be conflict or competition. It can also say that you are conflicted about something that's going on in your life. So you could be feeling conflict or you could be feeling, some sort of you could be feeling more conflicted. I kind of feel like this is inner conflict, which is what I was trying to say at the beginning of the reading. And, I'm still, I'm hesitating because I'm not sure. It doesn't look like a big deal. You have the Knight of Cups right next to it. So it's, the Knight of Cups would say that you're kind of overcoming this inner conflict. It could be in a dream because the Knight of Cups is dreaming. The Ten of Cups can also kind of represent just a little bit your dream life. And so you are trying to grow a dream life clearly right here, or you're trying to manifest a dream. And I feel like this inner conflict is kind of like saying, should I release the past? And the answer is clearly yes. You have the Queen of Cups. Really, I also think that you can forget everything that I just said and you could just follow your heart, which is hard to do, right? But it's like the Queen of Cups, she puts her heart above everything else. She doesn't worry about what's going on in the world. She doesn't worry about the conflicts or the challenges or anything like that. She just says, this is what my heart is telling me to do. If there's a conflict or an issue, I will take care of it when I get there. I think that would be a great attitude for you to develop with the Queen of Cups because, again, in your reading, I think she is definitely saying that you need to follow your heart. And again, staying in integrity is following your heart, right? When we live in integrity, we are following our heart. So, I think this would be a great thing for you. You do have the Tower. Like, I don't know. I feel like this could be a person who's coming back from the past. I would be careful of that because it could cause a Tower moment. If you happen to know that if a person were to communicate you, it would upset you, then, I think blocking and moving on would be a good idea. I also think this could be like the removal of a belief or the death of a belief with the Death card. So, the whole point of the Tower is that these people have been ignoring reality and now they're coming back down to reality. So they're seeing the world for how it actually is. And a lot of you could be needing to accept a new reality. We'll see. With the Five of Wands, you have the Six of Cups. Past person, right? Someone's been thinking about you. The funny thing is, I kind of feel like this might be a person that you least expect to return to your life. So, again, if you have an ex that you would least expect to return, it's probably that person. Again, if you want to get ahead of this, like I said, I would block right now instead of waiting for them to return. Just because of the Tower, Ten of Swords. This person could have stabbed you in the back or really hurt you. And so if that's the case, it could probably really hurt you again if they try to return. I don't think you would take this person back, but I'm just saying, hearing from them might really hurt you again, and I would definitely be careful of that. Here you go. With the Queen of Cups, yes, I think these two queens are going to be your best friend through this week. If I were you, Gemini, I would be following your heart. Queen of Wands, she learns as she goes. She also kind of follows her heart. She has the sunflower right here, and that sunflower points towards the sun. So she doesn't necessarily know where she is going, but she, just like the Page of Wands, she follows her excitement, her enthusiasm. She follows the sun, which is her joy, her peace, her happiness. And I think for a lot of you that it would be a good week to drown out the noise, ignore everything else, and just follow your heart, right? That will probably help you avoid these, any conflicts or issues. With the Tower, wouldn't even worry about it. You have the Star. So the Star kind of cancels out the Tower. The Star always comes up after the Tower, and the Star represents healing from a Tower moment. One thing I will say is, like I've been saying this whole time, if you have healed from a past person, you might want to block them so that you don't hear from them. Although, people can still get around that stuff, Gemini. But, again, if it's going to upset you, you've done a certain amount of healing, is what the Star is saying. And, you don't want to go backwards, right? Next, in the area of what's messages from your future self, you have the Scales of Balance card. It says, find balance within yourself and things will balance out around you. Yes, balancing your heart, right? Just moving towards your heart. You have another balance card, basically. You have this Libra card. It says new love on it. It says a new romantic relationship is unfolding that will be deeply meaningful for you. And you have the Knight of Cups. So again, there definitely could be something new. That's why it's encouraging you to ignore the past, is because there's something new that's balanced, that isn't an illusion. And I think that's what's coming in for you. You have the Knight of Cups, the Seven of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. Knight of Cups can definitely be a knight in shining armor. So I feel like there could be a knight in shining armor coming in for you here. The funny thing is like some of you might, you might have one of those past people where it's like you really did love them. You love the situation. But I think if you really look at it, it's like you weren't getting a lot of the things that you need in a connection. And, so it's like, was it really love? Or was this person just good at convincing you that it was love, right? I kind of feel like some of you, a past connection could have been one of those connections where you invested a lot. I think the problem with investing a lot with a person who doesn't invest a lot is that, it's like scientifically proven. Anything we give to, we value higher than everything else because we gave to it. So we invested in it. And we're afraid of losing the investment, so we automatically think it's worth more than it actually is. I think it's not a problem, if a person's matching energy. If you're giving a lot and you're also with a person who's giving just as much, not a problem, because you're both investing the same amount. But I think the problem is, like a past person, maybe you gave and gave and gave, and they basically gave breadcrumbs, so I would be careful of that person. This new person looks much better. You have the Seven of Cups, which can be an illusion. The thing is, I think that you won't have to guess if it's an illusion. Like, there will be evidence that this person is giving to the connection, right? So I kind of get that feeling on the Seven of Cups where it's saying pay attention to the evidence. But I think this is true with everything in your life right now, Gemini, is like, I think if you're confused with that Five of Wands, or, if you're feeling conflict in work or business or anything else that you're doing, I think like really looking at the evidence and really being able to say, like, yes, what I'm doing here is producing a result. If you can say that about the things you're working on or the things you're doing, great, keep doing it. If you can't say that, then it might be time for a change. And we literally go up to the Seven of Pentacles. He is looking at the evidence. The evidence is right in front of his face. What his work has produced is right there on the card. That is a card of analysis. He is looking at the work he's done and he's saying, was it worth it or not? Is the juice worth the squeeze, right? And it's coming up in the good stuff. So again, I think that you will have a good eye for things that are actually producing a result. But with those two sevens, I would pay attention. You have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords could be a good thing here because he is making a symbol with his hand right here, which represents a blessing. And the Ten of Swords can say, it does say we need to realize that something is dead, done, over with, and we need to get up off the ground and start moving forward towards a new beginning. But he's making the symbol which represents a blessing, and you could be seeing how something that didn't work out was a blessing in disguise. And I definitely feel that for you as well. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Chariot. Yeah, definitely a victory coming in here. Could be a Cancer. Could be someone who has Cancer in their chart that's coming in for you, but definitely could be a victory. I also think with that, your first card that says Acceptance Eccentric on it, the Chariot is about setting yourself apart. So he might be going on a eccentric journey. He might be going on a journey that is unlike anyone else's, and it might make him stand out, or it might make people in his life call him crazy because he's like not doing what everybody else does. But the Queen of Wands is all about accepting being the black sheep, right? Accepting that you are different, that you don't want to be a robot like everybody else. And so you definitely could be setting yourself apart here is what I'm trying to say. With that Seven of Cups, you have the Three of Swords. Seven of Cups with Three of Swords would kind of be like wondering all the reasons why someone did what they did, but I think there is no reason. It's like just, some people that are like raised with trauma, it's like I think they hurt people, and this kind of gives me vibes of maybe your past person having grown up with trauma or something like that, and there really is no reason why they do what they do. They probably can't even explain it. So I kind of feel like the Three of Swords is about you getting to that point where you are just healing and moving on, right? The Three of Swords is all about forgiveness. It's all about removing those swords from your own heart, so that you can heal. And we don't have to forgive a person directly. We can just forgive them in our heart, which is clearly going to be important with that Queen of Cups, because, when you heal your heart, you can follow your heart, which this reading definitely wants you to do. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Seven of Wands, boundaries. I don't know, this reading's flowing really nicely, is what I would say. I mean, I think you're drawing a line in the sand, which the Seven of Wands to me represents putting up those boundaries where you draw a line in the sand and you say, this is what I'm willing to accept, but I'm not willing to accept anything else. And again, I think that would be, definitely a good thing for you. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this card that says, have faith in your dreams. I would say the whole entire reading has like a little bit of that energy of having faith in a dream. Knight of Cups, Ten of Cups. Knight of Cups is dreamy. The Ten of Cups would kind of be your dream. And so I think you need to believe that you can have your dream. You have this card that says your hard work is paying off. Yes, so definitely working hard. I think you are putting work into, you have been putting in hard work, and now you could be getting a result. You have the Seven of Pentacles. Again, I would just trust the evidence. I don't think it would be a good time for you to just, kind of like say, it's almost like gambling, right? It's like if you're working on something, like I've done this before, where I've said, if I just put in more work, this will work, but it's kind of like gambling, because I'm saying, I need to work harder to force this thing to work, and it never works, right? I hope that makes sense, but I kind of get that feeling here, even though it's coming up in the good stuff. When instead of like investing, and I'm saying like, I don't believe we should quit on things that we're working on, but at a certain point, I do think there comes a time where we have to go back to the drawing board, and we have to say, is putting 100 hours a week into this project, is it really realistic, or am I just spinning my tires and not really getting anywhere, right? And I think this is about assessment. So I think it would be a good time for you to assess the work that you're doing and say, am I doing this in the best way possible, or do I need to kind of go back to the drawing board, take a pause, and go learn something new? Again, anytime that I've done that, I always pause, I go back to the drawing board, and I just kind of like learn something new. There's plenty of free information on YouTube about everything that possibly exists, so I just educate myself, right? And that usually solves a problem. So, that's what I would do here. You have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty, or good things happening after a difficult period of time. So I do feel a little bit of fortune after difficulty in this reading. I also feel that you need to like do more things that make you happy, of course, with that Queen of Wands. She's all about moving towards the sun. And I think this Ten of Cups, I would say this whole row here is like encouraging you to take a leap of faith towards, joy, happiness, peace, good feelings. You have the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles would be a big opportunity that has a lot of potential. And so I think that, you could be getting an opportunity, or you could be just with the Seven of Pentacles, you could really be creating a better opportunity for yourself. And I think that would be a good thing as well. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Moon. You're like the fourth person to have the Moon in the good stuff. The Moon in the good stuff is actually pretty good. It can say that you are now clear, or you can see clearly. Normally the Moon is kind of like fears, fantasies, illusions, not seeing things clearly. And so maybe you are just better at seeing what's worth it and what's not worth it. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Three of Wands, expansion. We have the Three of Wands here, and we go up to the two Queens and the Chariot, but we have the Devil. And so the Devil can say that there have been, toxic influences, which could be anything. It could be watching too much Netflix, right? It could be a bad habit that you have that have been preventing you from expanding towards the Ten of Cups. But, this could say that you're finally putting up boundaries, against those toxic influences. And again, it could be people, places, or things, or habits. And now you are expanding. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Hermit. The Hermit with the Ace of Pentacles would really say that you have earned this opportunity. Again, we have this card that says your hard work is paying off. And the Hermit has definitely put in a lot of hard work. He has had to climb to the top of that mountain to find his inner light. And so I think for a lot of you, you have put in the work to make something happen. Can't make this up. You have this happiness card. That should be your only focus. Like, what is going to make my heart happy, right? And I think you need to kind of nurture more of that energy. And again, I'm not saying life is ever perfect or that you're always going to be 100% happy, but again, we have to nurture happiness. 10 of Cups literally says you have to pick something that makes you happy, and then you have to keep doing it. So I would do more of what makes you happy. You have this horseshoe card. It says good luck on it. I mean, it is a lucky time. You're having Jupiter in your sign. It might not feel like it, but it is. You have this broken ring. It says parting of the ways, either in romance or business. We basically talked about it all the time. There's something about like a past person. Like I feel like you think that they are who you wanted, but they really aren't. So, I would pay attention to that. You have this May card and this purse card. It says pay attention to your finances. Yeah, between now and May, I would definitely pay attention to your finances. So I wouldn't be worried about this. I would just pay attention. Just that simple. You have this man card. It says dealings or relationships with the man. And you also have this haystack. It says karma. You will reap what you have sown. So a lot of you could be getting into a much better connection with like a new person, which we saw in the reading as well. And it could be like a needle in a haystack. So you could be finding a really good person that's been hard to find. But pretty interesting stuff here, Gemini. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.